Right, the prompt for the 5th of Mathober, whatever we're calling it, is SUPERGRAPH, which is great. And I thought what might be fun is to construct a graph and then construct a bigger graph containing that graph, which is, of course, the definition of a supergraph. So let's do some line segments here. In fact, do you know what? Let's make our subgraph a nice little K5, bit of a nod to yesterday's. So there's a nice little K5, adorable, and actually that proves that this graph is not planar. Can't be done as a planar thing. So I'm going to change the color of those to be something more interesting so that we can see them. Make those blue. There we go. And then I'm just going to carry on adding some nodes. I've set myself almost no challenge today, just for a nice, change of pace. I'm just going to make myself a nice, easy task. I'm going to create a supergraph. So here's a supergraph. In fact, the best fact I learned about this when I was thinking about what I was going to do, because I was like, what's a supergraph? And then I looked it up and I was like, well, obviously it's a thing that a subgraph is a subgraph of. But I also turned up the brilliant term forbidden subgraph. And this is when you have something like, a K5, a complete graph on 5 nodes in the middle there, making the whole thing not be, whatever the word is, planar. So we can't draw this without any lines crossing. In fact, there's no reason why I shouldn't have more lines crossing in my supergraph, because, no one cares. So the subgraph here, the existence of this subgraph basically forces the whole thing to not be planar, because this subgraph is itself non-planar. There's no way you can ever draw this graph without somewhere having a line crossing another line. And there are some cases like this bit here. If I were to kind of rejiggle this, you could make it so that crossing wasn't there anymore. With the blue subgraph there's absolutely no way to do that. And so if you are, for instance, looking for your graph to be planar, then K5 is what's called a forbidden subgraph, which I think is such a cool term. Makes it sound a lot more, illicit. Some kind of illicit graph theory going on here. So there you go. And with my remaining 30 seconds, going to actually try and make things look a bit nicer. There we go. Turn off some labels for you. So there's a graph, and there is a supergraph of that graph, and that supergraph. I guess I'm gonna give it another line there. Don't even care. Turn the label off on that as well. See, plenty of time today. It looks a bit like the Superman logo as well. How have I done this by accident? I love it. Thanks, everyone.